this in just a moment. Who else needs their prosperity treatment? Pass this down, please. Pass this down, please. No, pass it to thank you, Jackie.
One more.
One more, pass this down, please.
One more, Barbara.
Pass this down. David, no. Who needs their prosperity treatment? Who did you say, John? Okay. And remember that this is not a difficult treatment to memorize, and if you're actually saying it many, many times a day, then you will have it memorized. So, good. Thank you. It's a funny energy night, isn't it? I think that's because magic is about to happen. And so my question to you is, are you ready? Yes! Good, then get up out of your seats and we'll do our prosperity treatment together aloud. I firmly know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share, today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word, which I speak in faith knowing, now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the Think and Grow Rich program of our center, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is. Okay, we always start the class out with sharing of demonstrations of prosperity. David's not here, so we don't have a microphone, but I have great faith that you'll be able to stand up here and project your voice with all of the good vibes that go along with it out to the ends of the room. So who wants to be first? Come and line up along the side, those of you who are going to be next. Okay, followers, we're staying right here. Hi, everybody!
Sandy and I were gifted by her brother last night with 2 iPads that are only 2 years old for nothing. The dogs are now computer winners again.
I already got my iPad earlier, so 2 weeks ago, my landlady called up and said, I'm going to sell some of my property, so I went, oh. But I decided, no, that's not going to happen. I'm not ready to move, so I took all the stuff that I got over this prosperity thing and put it in my house in my winter setup. And so now I've got my recording studio all set up and everything, and somebody came and gave me a stand and a guitar stand to complete the whole thing, so I just made my first record yesterday. And then we got up the nerve to text the landlady and said, are you really going to sell a house? And she said, nah.
So I started out the week with like 24 hours because one of my participants was out of town and I really wanted a full work week. And so I was like, it's okay, they'll call me with 6 shifts and whatever. As of like 11 this morning, I'm up to 42 hours and they've already called me for like 3 more shifts. So I have overtime, which is super exciting. And on a random other note, I came home to all of my laundry completely done and folded and put away and washed and everything.
I'm sharing here just like I was last week. I didn't know what check
However, what bank I bank with, I'll tell you because money keeps showing up. Last week I told you guys that there was $500 just showed up. Well, 2 years ago this month, I had a condition happen where I can't use my left arm, and I'm a registered nurse, and I have to be able to do CPR and blocks and stuff. So I filed for, eventually, after therapy's filed for disability. Well, there's that saying that everything it takes 2 times, or it might take 3 times, it's going to cost $5,000 for a lawyer. So I did some wheeling and dealing on the paper, and in my mind, and I told the Lord, why waste that $5,000 or $6,000 on someone else, like an attorney, when I could use it and over time be donating it after the bills are paid. And so, Tuesday night, we had last year Monday night, Tuesday night, I always check my checking just to see how bad it is and if I need to go cash in I-bonds. Looked on there, and my breathing did not happen. So I went in to show Julia and I said, I want to cry. And she said, well, cry. And she didn't know why. She said, well, cry. And I said, look here. And I showed her, and we had $38,000 in our checking. Then Friday, Julia brought, number 2, I guess. Julia brought in the mail, and of course it's always after hours, so you can't call anybody to check out the stuff. But when I was working, I had additional disability insurance I paid for myself, and when the injuries happened, I had $2,000 a month coming in. So here comes the 2 envelopes she brought in, and they're both from Sun Life. And I thought, oh crap, I owe them money. So, but I didn't know, Julia said later she put a positive vibe into it. So, I opened it up, and what it says is, you didn't cash your 2 October checks. And so, they have to be reissued.
From 2013.
Yeah, from 2013. So I called today, and I said, yeah, you're so sweet, and so nice. Usually I expect a fight with people, I shouldn't do that.
And to teach you about the second thought.
And so she said, no problem. She said, let me get this information. And so along with our, the back pay is what the disability money came through. I didn't get the letter that said I was accepted with my first attempt with disability until after we had the mail, and that's why I wasn't going to spend anything until, that. But not only the $36,000 and then $2,000 on top of it, and a friend of mine just got started a business that she's been talking to me for a long time now. That was puppy daycare and just all kinds of stuff. And she found her building, and she says, I want someone that smiles a lot. And so I smile a lot. So.
Wow, I don't know if I can follow that one.
Okay, I told you before that I'm in the process of buying this house that is scheduled to close at the end of the month. And that's a whole separate story I'll talk about in the last class. I have been going to stores, and recently I walked in Ross and I found something I've been looking for several months. And I had one of these little slips hanging from a credit since 1370. And when they rang it up, the amount that I actually had was equal to what I needed for the purchase. I've been in several other stores, and it's like credits I have would cover it. I had Kmart points, and I wanted to buy one piece of furniture. And I wasn't paying any attention. I didn't know how you use the points and all. So all of a sudden I look at it, and I've got $187 in points. So I had some Sears points also, so I call them up and I find out they're under the same corporation. I can combine them. So the amount is almost equal to the piece of furniture. And then earlier in this class, I shared that when I found the house, I hadn't moved that long ago, so I was breaking a lease. And the bottom line is everything's working out. It's looking like I'm not going to get penalties. It's just coming together unbelievably. They allowed me to put my furniture, I actually have to be out before construction finishes. And I'm allowed to store my furniture in a unit that I already had on the premises, and then I got another unit. So everything is just stored a few feet away, so I didn't have to move it to another building or rent an expensive storage or anything. It's just been an unbelievable experience, everything that's been happening.
I wanted to have something to tie tonight, so I ran out to the casino this afternoon and won $1,000. And I also wanted to share something very exciting to me, and it's not only about the money, but it's something far more important, which is real friendship, an actual friendship. And I had a big breakthrough in realizing that this week. This seminar has been unexpectedly emotional, and it always comes with manifestations and insight when you have those big emotions that come out of this seminar. And then the money will follow, it's just money. And last week I was standing toe-to-toe with Barbara, and she was supporting me in putting fire into my writing career. I've been writing for 40 years. I've written 20 novels, 6 science fiction, 2 novels, fiction novels about growing up, things like that. And then I'm in the process of getting them published, and I was listening very, very carefully to her. And then I was wondering, as I was listening to her, why this woman was being more supportive of me than I was being of myself. And then later that night, I was reading Think and Grow Rich, and realized how important it was to have people around you who are supportive, and that's probably why we're doing the mastermind meetings, stuff like that. So I set out to make a list of the people in my life who support me, really supported me over the last years. And at first I put down 2 names, then 2 more, and then I put down 6 more. And it was kind of strange because the first names were Barbara and John, and then I said, okay, I gotta switch this up. It's John and Barbara. Then it was Barbara, John. And then I was sensing a subtle pattern there. And then I realized that Barbara and John really aren't just ministers here at the Center for Creative Spiritual Living. They're also true, real friends. And I just got that last night. I was like, holy crap. I was like, they're real friends. So it really, really struck me. So I wanted to acknowledge you for that and thank you for that. And a few years ago, I made a commitment or a promise to be the first person to tithe $1 million to the CSL. And I'm about $10 million away from that right now, which is no big deal in the universe of infinite abundance. And I want to recommit and rekindle that commitment because it's always been on my mind in the last 10 years. Ever since I made that promise, it's never gone away, and I still want to do it. So it's there, so thank you for that. And thank you for that.
Well, 2 or 3 things came for me. One, I was finding dimes. I found dimes several times, and then also I thought, well, I'll play the lottery on following Tom's footsteps. Who won 200,000? Well, I didn't quite get the 200,000, but I did get the $4. And then I had the opportunity and the blessing to go through my credit card statements, and so I said, oh, I remember there's something about getting points. And so I looked down and I said, 1,000. So I said, I better call and find out how much it does to get some money back. And so I got a nice lady on the phone, and she said, oh yeah, you'll get $127 there, and they have been taking points away because I hadn't been cashing them in. I said, will you give me those points back? They said, sure. So I got $127.
And I have a couple of things that happened, but first I'd like to tell an interesting story because I've been having some communication. The universe has been communicating with me, I'll put it that way. One of the things that Napoleon Hill says is persistence, excuse me, and he also says enthusiasm. So I have taken him at his word, and I have decided to become like Barbara and enjoy listening to myself talk. So I talk out loud all the time, and I talk the prosperity treatment, and then I go right into the Napoleon Hill, my desire is, and I want it now, and this is what we're going to do, and I open myself up to the universe. So one night I was driving home, and I just was, I was so hyped up, it went over and over and over and over this, and I thought, I'm going to go buy a Powerball ticket. So I did. And instead of looking at it like I usually do so that that little voice can say, oh, those numbers aren't gonna make it, I just took it home and laid it down. So when I was going to bed, it was usually, when I'm going into sleep is when I concentrate on all this some more. And I decided to look at the ticket so that I could concentrate on that. So I looked at it and I said, oh crap, this isn't even the good ticket. Because there were duplicate numbers. Have you ever seen the Powerball ticket with duplicate numbers? So there was a 25 for the Powerball number, but there was also 25 in the group of numbers. Plus, there was a number 1. Oh my gosh, one's the most difficult. If I were going to pick Powerball numbers, I would never pick number 1. So here, I've got the 1 against me, I've got the duplicate numbers. It's like, this is never going to work. So I waited and worked on it, and I checked the drawing after it was done, and guess what the first number was? 1! And guess what else was in that? 25. No. I had 2 25s, and that had 2 24s. Oh. And I stood there and laughed out loud because I know that the universe is telling me many things. One of them which is I keep believing, and it's not quite time yet, but it's coming. It's coming. So what I did get when I opened, I did wash some sheets which have no pockets from the washer. So when I opened it, right there on the rim was a big shiny quarter. It wasn't floating around in the bottom, so I had to search for it. It was just right there. And then the other thing that I received, it seems that those of us who have the Blue Cross Blue Shield supplemental F plan don't use it enough. So I got a refund of $196.45.
Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. There are those of us who have to start somewhere. That's me. I have not started at it. I haven't manifested anything. And so, lo and behold, the other day I'm thrilled to say, as I got into my car and I looked down, here was something shining in the mud. And it was a penny. Yay. But I am thrilled. That's the start.
Wedding this weekend, and it was very expensive, and my daughter was coming with me, and I was like, oh, I shouldn't say I don't have the money for this. I should just go and just know the money was going to come. So I put it on my charge, and we went, and it was a New York wedding, like 50,000 over the hill, one of those. And it was on the beach in Long Beach Island, and it was absolutely beautiful. But when I got there, my cousin was so appreciative that I came, that he had breakfast with a bottle of champagne for me, and I got a discount on the hotel, and he got me a stretch limo to get from the hotel to the airport and back. Yeah. It was awesome.
Last week I needed some glasses, and it was not good timing because there's been a lot of travel and a lot of learning this year, a lot to do, and it wasn't in the budget. But I went to Lens Crafters and picked out the glasses, and the frames were much more affordable than what I'd been looking at before. That was great. So I got them, and it came to $425, $35. And when I told Jerry, he reminded me that just 2 days before that, FedEx had come to our door with a check from Ford. Jerry got a new car this year, and the EPA wasn't correct. They hadn't advertised it correctly. And they sent us $475 to apologize.
So was the time.
I gave it. Oh, yeah, okay. The 35 different So that was one thing. That was a very exciting thing. And it really felt absolutely exactly what is going on. The other thing is that this week I did the last visioning session that I had offered 5 free ones on Facebook, and the person paid me. I tithe for it, and that's in there. And the excitement though about it is that I had been wanting to go to an animal communication class this month, and it really didn't seem to be in the budget. But we had both agreed that we would just wait and see, but the deadline was like immediate. And she gave me the tithe, which was 1/3 of it, just before the deadline, and that felt like such a sign that I am going to make that happen. Really, in the way of what you talked about what we want to do in the future, someone had given us a CD, given a Dowser friend of ours, had given us a CD that he did some narrating on. And I've been listening to it about plant spirit medicine. And it's a long CD and very, very interesting. And the more I listen to it, the more excited I get. And the more I realize, the more excited I get, the more I create going and learning more, studying with this person. So I like that. I like the fact that felt like riches.
Yeah.
To be excited about the next thing.
Yeah.
So I don't need that.
So I just bought I went to a garage sale and I bought a table, a high-top table and 2 chairs, beautiful, for $150. And I do some consultation work and I helped out the owner. And after it was finished, she said, "How can I repay you?" So I was kidding. I said, "Oh, you could give me $100. So she said, "Oh, well, you can have the tables and chair for nothing." And then just one more thing that happened. It was a couple of years ago. I love to play penny slots. And I had given $1,000 to a New Thought church I was going to. And the next month, I went and I played penny slots and I won $6,000.
Hey, I'm Chuck the Labyrinth guy. Last night's full moon labyrinth walk was great. We had a lot of fun. I got a lot of mileage out of last Monday's exercise. That was really profound for me. So the week before that, I'd gotten the largest order ever for Science of Fine Jewelry, and from a bookstore in Texas. Tuesday morning, there was an email. They had received it Monday. Tuesday morning, there was an email that said, "Well, you didn't send us enough. We want to double our order and actually get a little bit more." So, no tithe tonight, but it's coming.
And just following up on what Chuck said, I got off a lot out of last week's class too. I just want to say I am rich. I went home last week after class and I was feeling kind of low because I was really amazed at how quickly some of the old stuff came back up to the surface again.
Oh, no.
And I had to reprocess everything again. And then about a day later, I started thinking, and I could hear this voice in my head. I think it was Barbara or John saying, "You can be happy or you can be sad. It's your choice." So I chose happiness. I started thinking about all the wonderful things that have happened this year to me, for me, through me, and by the end of the day, I was singing and happy again. And
Okay, I just felt kind of obligated. I don't know if anybody remembers me getting up to first class and sharing with my daughter. So in between, I haven't been here 2 weeks because the next week she moved in with me. And she's been with me, and about 5 days after she moved in, she got mononucleosis. So last Tuesday, I was getting ready to come. I was like, "I'll be back in 2 hours." My partner was there, and she started crying. She said, "Mommy, don't," and you know, it's been like 4 years since I've heard the word mommy or mom or anything, you don't understand, this is like the biggest sorrow of my life, and it's over. And then I had another, you know, me and my mother is somewhat mentally ill, and she's somewhat estranged from both me and my sister. But my sister had called me a few days before my daughter moved back in and said, hey, I want to come visit you, can I stay at your house? I'm going to bring my kids. I was like, sure, I'd love to see you. And then she emailed me and said, hey, can I bring mom along? And I haven't seen my mother in like 3 or 4 years. And my sister said, you know, I don't want to, but I feel like it's the right thing to do, so blah, blah, blah. I was like, I agree with you, I think it's the right thing to do. And my mom agreed to come, and everybody had a great time, and she met my partner, and it had been, again, 3 or 4 years since I'd seen her. So I think that's Prosperity Cause for me, is about bringing relationships in that need to be there.
Okay, please.
Am I on? Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Hey, who took the tables away? Just thought I'd get us past that. You don't need tables tonight. We're going to do an exercise. How many of you have done mastermind work before? Okay, all right. So this will be an introduction for many of you. Those of you that have done it before, the way I describe it may be a little different, but we're going to play with it tonight. And so let's create a context. Chapter 10 of the Think and Grow Rich is called Mastermind. It was Hill that came up with that idea. Now, a minister in let's see, Michigan took that idea. Jack Boland? Jack Boland, who was a Unity minister in Michigan outside of Detroit, took that, and his background was in AA, so he took that and created a new model. And I've known about that model for 30 years, and I've modified it because, you know, that was how they spoke in Unity 30 years ago from Jack Boland's perspective. Today we're going to do it a little different. So what we've got is this basic idea that starts with Napoleon Hill. He makes one very definitive statement in chapter 10. The mastermind may be defined as coordination of knowledge and effort in the spirit of harmony between 2 or more people for the attainment of a definite purpose. That's what Hill said the mastermind concept was about. In other words, we as individuals can affirm the truth in our lives, we can treat for ourselves, but when we gather with 2 or more people and focus collectively in consciousness to create a shift, we get more shift, which makes sense. We want the things to shift in our lives. And the beauty of working with other people, it's the same thing you get from working with a practitioner. A practitioner doesn't care about your garbage. They don't care what you've been through. They don't care how hard it's been. They see God when they look at you. They're trained to do that. They know how to do that. So while you're going blah, 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 they're saying, I'm not buying a word of it. They're smiling at you, nodding their head. They're not buying your stuff. They're trained not to do that. Now that's certainly a very powerful way to work on creating a change in your life to change the conditions of working with a practitioner. However, working with a group of people who have the same intention, who are seeking a better life for themselves, who will make a commitment to you and everyone in a circle or in a group to do this work of holding you up, and as you hold them up, it creates a real change. So Hill says that there are 2 elements of the mastermind. One is economic and one is psychic. So let me tell you basically, this is paraphrased from what he writes, but he says that according to Hill, the 2 intangible potentialities of power available through properly chosen mastermind group. And that's significant. We'll talk about that more in a while. The properly chosen mastermind group. Economic advantages may be created by any person who surrounds himself or herself with the advice, counsel, and personal cooperation of a group of individuals who are willing to lend wholehearted support in the spirit of perfect harmony. Apparently Hill loved this idea of harmony. But the idea of this is, the harmony is that everybody is in unison. They are collectively together around this idea of a shift in your life. Something being different in your life, something showing up, something being accomplished, some outcome being present in your life. So there's a collective mind process that's going on. And that falls into number 2 then. When the minds of 2 or more people are coordinated in a spirit of harmony, those minds form an affinity which constitute the psychic power of the mastermind. In other words, when a group works together to your benefit, you as a group collectively make that change. And it truly is more powerful than an individual. Now we teach here with absolute certainty that God is totally present everywhere, at the point of view as much as anywhere else. However, when a group get together and start working on this collectively, you find a shift. Those of you who have been in mastermind groups know that this is a potential. That actually what can happen is that by everyone in the group believing something is so about you, it shows up. Now we just went through a demonstration here and seeing, just by being in the same classroom, just by hearing the same conversation, just by being in that element, that energy of a greater experience, all these stories show up. Everybody has, not everybody, but many of you have had stories. Some shift has happened. Mine is that since I've been president of CSL, I occasionally get the opportunity of going and visiting other communities, speaking on a Sunday, doing a workshop, working with a board. I've done lots of that stuff. And inevitably, many of the communities will send me a check. And it's lovely. It's usually $150, $200, and I thought that was nice. I was in Raleigh a few weeks ago. While this class was going on, I went to Raleigh and worked with that community over there. We did some panels with their new practitioners. I spoke the next day on Sunday and did an afternoon workshop. In fact, I did the same workshop that I did with you on setting your intentions and outcomes and finding the resources in your life. And a check for almost $600 showed up. Never got that much from a community. So I called him and I said, "What's up?" And the minister said, "We calculated. That's exactly what your share of what we did was. So thank you." And I said, "Okay, thank you." So just by being here, it's already happening for many of us. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do a kind of a practice mastermind group. Mastermind groups are intended to be ongoing. And the longer they go, the more affinity is created among the members. Tonight we're not committing to these circles. I mean, if you get into a group and you feel a high affinity with the people you're sitting with and you want to start a mastermind group, that's great. But what we have to do tonight is see what we can learn through this process. So there's going to be a high level of responsibility tonight. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to invite some people to come up and we're actually going to demonstrate how a mastermind work might work. We're going to use my model for that. We're going to go through the 8 principles, we're going to say them aloud, we're going to pick one person in the group to be the first focus. The way mastermind groups is you focus on each person and you give them your attention for a period of time. So we're going to have a group of about 5 and I'm going to invite you in a little while to find a group of 5 and go through this, but to do it for each person. We're just going to start with 1 in our circle and we're going to begin that process. We have a question already. Yes?
Can I be the volunteer?
Oh, you're already pushing to be up here. Give me a second. Okay, so I want to go through these. I want to very briefly go through these 8 principles so you know what we're talking about as the 8 principles of mastermind. And as we do that, and you don't have to write them down, you're going to get one of these. Okay, so just listen. If you want to write it, you can, but you're going to receive it in writing here today. So there are 8, according to Bolton. These are changed from his original. So if you're going, that's not what he said. Be okay. It's not, really. It's what I said. Okay? Here's what we go. The mastermind principles. Number 1, I ask for and receive the powerful support of my mastermind group. Number 1, you believe in the circle you're sitting in is of great value in your life. That's principle 1. The second one is I believe. I believe that the power of this group is greater than mine alone, and that our collective consciousness can change my life for the better. Okay, so you're giving power to this group. You're saying this group that I sit with and do this work with actually enhances my life. Number 3, I'm ready to change. Because if you're not ready to change, not heaven nor hell can get you to where you think you want to be, unless you're ready to do this. I am ready to change by realizing that in the past, my erroneous thinking was the cause of my problems, my unhappiness, my fears, and my failures. Taking personal responsibility is the best thing you can do, because if you're saying all those things happen because of me, then you're the one that can change it. You're the one that can change your thinking, work with your group, and create a different outcome. Number 4, I choose to change. Oh my God, I choose to change. You don't have to raise your hand, but I know several of you were annoyed that there were no tables in this room. Where's my damn table? Where am I putting my coffee? You know, change is part of life. And when we find change, the more resistance we have to it, the more difficult change our lives are going to be. What has been proven in studies is that people who can exist in an ambiguous state where there's uncertainty, people that can be okay in that state are happier and have more successful lives. People who require rigidity, it must be the way I expect it every single time, struggle in life. We need to be flexible. What was I reading about? I choose to change by accepting the conscious support of my mastermind group. As a result, I am changed at depth. I am changed at depth. To the depths of my being, I am changed. That's what you're looking for. Number 5, no surprise, I forgive. I forgive myself for any unskillful actions or shortcomings that I have expressed in the past. I also forgive anyone with whom I have ever found fault. We could talk about that. You guys did a great thing last week on forgiveness, right? So you don't need to hear a lot about that. But what I absolutely believe is because you forgive somebody doesn't mean that you need to be a victim again. It means that you let them off the hook and you let yourself off the hook and you start fresh and they go their way and you go yours. Okay? Number 6, I make known my desired outcomes, asking for my mastermind partners full support in knowing with me all that is that all is fulfilled. In other words, I'm willing to let these people know what's important in my life so that I can express that out, create a sense of outcome so that they can join me in knowing that for me. That's the work. Takes some foundation to get there, but by number 6 of 8, we're talking about actually expressing into this circle something of value in your life that everybody collectively can know with you. Okay, number 7, I give thanks for the manifestation of my wonderful, rich, and powerful life through the power of the mastermind. In other words, there's no sense resisting this. If you're going to turn yourself over to this, if you're going to honestly speak to these people about what's important to you and trust them with what's going on in your world and what your heart's desire is, you're going to go ahead and be grateful for it and move into it. Yes?
Could you go over number 6 again, please?
6. Yeah, well, that's the key here. I mean, that's what everybody should be going for. This is step 3 of treatment. It's the thing itself that you're looking for to create in your life. It says, I make known my desired outcomes, asking for my mastermind partner's full support in knowing with me that all is fulfilled. In other words, whatever I set forth in the group is fulfilled.
Will be.
Yeah, not will be, is fulfilled. Okay? That's a nuance, but it's key.
No, I am.
Okay. So I give thanks is number 7, and number 8, I am supplied through the mastermind with all things necessary to live a successful and happy life. I live as an example for others to follow and go forth in a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy. That's it. Pretty simple. So here's what happens in the circle. The circle is an RCUB in the circle. That's it, right? Okay. So, so we're gonna set this up, and we're gonna pass the mic around and get everybody in this. But what we do is we read this together. We read it in unison as a group. All right. And then, one at a time, each person gets to say what it is they desire into their lives. The job of the circle is to come up with a 1-sentence affirmation that affirms that is so for this person. The affirmation includes their name. It includes that is happening now. It includes everyone seeing as best they can in their mind's eye that this is so. And everyone says it together 3 times. You say it together 3 times. And here's the the wooey part of this. The way I learned it is that everybody puts hands on the person that's being called for. Yeah, I know. We are so different than so many centers. You know how when you go to work with a practitioner, they take your hands?
Yeah.
Most centers won't let you touch anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very different that way. But it's okay, you know, to put your, don't be touching special places. But make that physical connection, and wait till you see. What we're going to do is we're going to practice it up here with 5 people, and then I'm going to ask the person who is the focus of this to tell us what they felt. Okay? I think it's you. Yeah. Okay. So Emily, I want you in this. Marcy. Right. Who else is going to jump in here? Who else wants to be? Got it. There, and there. That's it. Okay, guys, come up here. Let's bring 5 chairs, make them in a circle. You may or may not be able to see people. If you need to move to see them, that's fine. Whatever it takes. That's it. So, you speak over there. So, what you guys are going to do? Hi, everybody fine? Everybody good? All right. Hold it.
Are we just reading?
You want to read it together in unison. Read the 8 principles together.
The mastermind. Oh, okay.
Read, start with the, yeah, with number 1. Just start with number 1.
Powerful support of my mastermind group. I believe that the power of this group is greater than mine alone, and our collective consciousness can change my life for the better. I am ready to change by realizing that in the past, I rarely mistaken because of my problems, unhappiness, fears, and failures. I choose to change by accepting the conscious support of my mastermind group. As a result, I can change after death. I forgive myself for any unskillful actions or shortcomings that I have expressed in the past. I also forgive anyone with whom I have ever found fault. I make known my desired outcomes, asking for my mastermind partner's full support, and knowing with me that all is well. I give thanks for the manifestation of my wonderful, rich, and powerful life through the power of the mastermind. I am supplied through the mastermind with all things necessary to live a successful and happy life. I live as an example for others to follow and go forth in a spirit of enthusiasm, excitement, and expectancy.
Very nice. So the point of this is they're creating a harmony. They're creating a unity of thought. Reading together aloud means you're hearing it while you're speaking it. It's a powerful tool, and it gets these ideas in. And every time they meet, the first thing they do when they come together to sit is you read these 8 things, read them together, and then everybody is in that state of unity in the conversation. So who's going to be, Marcy, you're going to do this? Okay, then I want you guys, you and Sue, to switch places so that everyone has more of an eyesight connection. Even though nobody's here but your fault. Yes. Okay, there it is. And what you guys are doing now, you're listening to her, what she shares. You're working on creating a 1-sentence affirmation that has her first name.
And I'm asking for.
Whatever it is that your vision is that you would like, or if you can only state it in terms of a problem, then their job is to help get to the point of affirming it. Affirming the thing you want, not what you don't want.
I know that I have
been in fear since before my first breath, and it's been my block on multiple levels in my life. And I actually dabbled with my tarot cards last night for fun, and I know that I'm still blocked by that fear. Once I define that, and then I ask, once I heal that block fear, what my financial life will be like, and the Six of Pentacles came up. And the Six of Pentacles means there's a huge windfall. And I'm so ready to do what I'm called to do. I'm doing it. But I am ready to let go of that financial fear of everything. I've never felt safe on any level for multiple reasons. So I'm ready to heal this out. Thank you for your help, and everybody else.
So who's that, who wants to either ask a question or suggest an affirmation? Take them.
So you, to me, the antidote to fear is courage. And when I find my purpose in life, then I'm living my passion. So I suggest that I, Marcy, courageously live my passion. So that's the first one. This is the mastermind. We're throwing out suggestions.
And we're not going to say this as Marcy. We're going to say it for Marcy. We know Marcy.
Oh,
So
okay,
Marcy
good.
is.
Good.
Marcy is what you're going to do. You're going to go, Marcy is courageous and clear, whatever it is. That way.
Well, it's really interesting because the difference of you saying that and
Yes.
that versus what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. That's what, yeah.
Fear is not feeling safe to go in and express your courage. So I say that Marcy is safe to express her courage and go forward in her passion.
You like that? Say it again.
Marcy is safe to go forth in her courage and express her passion.
Is that it? Bingo. What do you do now? Yeah, that's right. And if you're on the other side of the circle, come on back behind her. And just gently touch her, whatever, yeah, anywhere. And then you're going to repeat that 3 times together aloud.
Marcy is safe to go forth in her courage to express her passion. Marcy is safe to go forth in her courage to express her passion. Marcy is safe to go forth in her courage to express her passion.
Did that work? This is what you get. This is it. Okay? Some people will go just like this. Isn't that lovely? Because what's happening right now for Marcy is her heart is opening up. She's been affirmed by a loving group of people that have lifted her up and seen the truth of her. That's what you're going to do. You are courageous. I believe you too. Yay! What you're going to do is find 5 people, get into a circle, and go to work. It's your business when you take a break, but at, let's say, at 20 minutes to 9, everybody's back in here, everybody in the circle has had their turn, and you're ready to go, you're ready to talk about what happened, okay? You're on your own for your break, how you want to do that, but right now I would suggest you find your circle. Let me explain again, you're not making any commitment on these people for the rest of your life. This is for tonight. 5 or 6, no more than 6. Get something and bring it down. Who doesn't have a circle? Raise your hand. Okay, we need one person here. How many people we need there? One. You have 4?
You're taking your chair?
Yeah, let's go.
How many do you guys have? You have 6. What do you guys have? Well, okay, so somebody needs to go into a group report here somewhere.
We've got to do an alcove here. Oh, Kathy?
How many of y'all have over here? You have the bathroom?
I'm David. This is Shirley. Nice practice. Margaret.
There we go, that's a
We're not doing this?
Shirley is safe. We know that Shirley is safe before her courage to express her perfection. We know surely it is safe to encourage to express
That has begun to make a real shift.
Keep it in counterclockwise. Okay, I want 100% recovery. I want to know that I'm 100% healed now. The whole body, yes. Yeah, it was created probably through a lack of joy, emotional thing that was more than and it's been 22 months regrowing this stuff. Joy. Yes. My best day was between 6 and 7. Yes, the joy thing is very, and yes, coming out of this injury, let me tell you, it is so sweet. It's so joyful. I'm already experiencing it. It's not quite where I want it yet, but I'm embracing it. Oh, I poured my cartilage down to the bone. Okay, so I had some growth platelet shots. It's grown back now. It's been 22 months. It's almost 100%. I thought it would be 100% by September. Yes, it will. And it has. It is. Yeah, I believe that's a key.
And they meet once more, so they girl each other out.
We know he does. Yes.
So I can get more balance.
Because there was some fear for me, you know, fear of the future, fear of lack, or whatever. Yes. If we
Express and real.
created something. Yes. Sounds good. Let the healing begin. We know.
David expresses joy and reveals physical perfection. We know David expresses joy and reveals physical perfection. We know David expresses joy and reveals physical perfection.
I walk through life with joy every day. That's what he said. Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you. So it is. Oh man, electricity. Every time it's just vibrating.
There's something about that open door. Not just to let them in, but like,
Kind of gotten it shot. It's their choice. I need to accept where they
Yeah.
Don't focus on one, but focus on yes, the feeling, actually the feeling, the knowing. Yeah, all that. You know, Rick is loved and supported by the universe. You know that Rick is loved and supported by the universe. You know that Rick is loved and supported by the with that input. So you also have to do I hit send? Do I really?
Got my password. I started putting it in my phone. When you kept saying oh my God. Oh, okay,
Yeah, no, but yeah.
It feels like that.
Yeah. Did I say?
I would ask high.
Yeah, can you feel it? A little. Yeah, they're not saying badly. It's all good things.
Email her this website. She said just paste it in the yeah. So for one thing, I have a Mac computer set that Bob and everybody else
I know when I was working on my Peace Corps.
I was thinking about somebody
Yeah, 3 months worth of
Oh, I know, that's what I do. I say, here girls, do this with me. You have to do
I got a lot of practice on Facebook. And I started though on email. I started on email, and then we started out Did you pinpoint that? No, you gotta save your pictures and then go to your documents.
Now, I don't want to try to send pictures, but it takes me half a day. That's how I
So much to do phones and ways. Right, yeah, that is the yeah, it was kind of thick.
I guess we can take
No, I just said what I think. He doesn't do it. I just had this. He's no good. Like you can provide some love. And I wasn't drinking. I was everything we I was an ultrasound. And we don't work for you. And I was going to do it. I took care of it. And I had well, that's almost like a lot of people it's not a problem. But see, how would you so I'm going to give you his telephone number. I talked to him yesterday. Oh, that's great. That gave me chills.
Try to solve it.
Which is better, that pass or
In order to feel like
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel much better. I really, it was a little hard to read without
Okay, everyone, please come and take a seat. Turn your seat around to face this way. Okay, who experienced something that dazzled them? Something wonderful, something that touched your heart? Anybody want to share? You're so shy. Yeah, I knew it. Okay, everybody listen up now. Carol's going to share something with us.
Okay, that's good. There was just so much love in our group. It was profound. We each experienced different emotions, but just in general, the love was wonderful.
Excellent, thank you. Anybody else have a thought? Okay, that's cool. How many had, yes?
It was amazing. We were doing the working at Connie here, and it was funny because at first she said, well, I don't even know what I want. So we kind of just worked with her, drew her out a little bit, and we got clear, and we did it for her. Her whole face changed. With the color, I mean, it was just the softness. She still has it though, but I mean, it's just amazing. It was so beautiful to watch that transformation. It was immediate as soon as we finished saying it.
Well, I had a really great group too, and even though I focused on an issue for me that I've been working in my own mind for some time now, feeling it impressed in me with the love of those people has really shifted it from a mind thing to a heart thing now. I really feel it a lot differently than I did before today.
Very nice. The two words to remember that really guide this process are affinity. That everyone in your circle has an affinity. Everybody is really present and liking what's happening. And the other word is harmony. That there's a level of balance with this whole thing that's going on. As David said, often we know what we want, but when we hear others say it to us, it just changes everything. Anybody else have anything that they want to throw out here? Okay.
I have a vision to create a community, and what everybody is expressing is we're all thinking it, it's inside, it's behind our eyes and between our ears, but hearing it from the outside, it brings it out into the world, and it's the seed of manifestation for me.
Thank you, Jim. So, The idea of this, of course, this is one of the chapters in Think and Grow Rich. That's why we did this tonight, to get an experience of what he was talking about. And these mastermind groups have been around, since he wrote the book, and they've evolved. So help yourself to keep those. If you want an extra blue sheet to have that to give to someone else, by all means, there are some up here. Help yourself to them. This is what I did. I Googled how to create a mastermind group. There are tons of resources if you want to go find, but I printed one of them out. Let me throw out some of the stuff that was on this site by Karen Greenstreet. What do you get from being in a mastermind group? Support from others who are seeking success, experience, skills, and confidence, accountability and real progress in your life, an instant and valuable support network, a sense of shared endeavor. There are others out there. Isn't that lovely? Who should attend a mastermind group? People with similar interests, similar skills, people who have a desire and an inspiration to make their lives extraordinary, people who want a support team, people who are reaching out and intend to exceed at their goals. So this is a way to create this in your life. We went over how it works. You tried it out. What would be my coaching to you on that? This was a practice run with a group of people most of you probably didn't even know, and yet there was great affinity. So the idea is, if you want to do this, go start one. Just ask certain people. Be very conscious of who you're inviting into your circle. You want people who you can trust to be there, to hold the confidence of the circle, who you can know will be reliable in showing up when you meet. Some groups meet twice a month. Some groups meet once a month. I think there are probably some that meet every week. That's quite a commitment. But however you want to do it, if you set this up. Here, there are some more other interesting things that were also in this. Ideal group, 5 to 8 people, no bigger than 8. When you get together, you do it just like we did it. You read your principles together, and then you each have time. Balance it out. Plan on each person taking 10 or 15 minutes. So if you're going to have 8 people in the group, that means you may be at it for a couple hours. However you want to do it is how you do it. It's up to you. Let's see. If you're going to have people join you, here's some interesting things to ask them. Do you have a personal or business mission or vision statement? What are your 5-year goals? How will you find time to participate in this group? What is your commitment to moving forward in your business or your personal life? And why should you be chosen as a participant in this group? So you're actually, you're checking people out if you want to have them in your group. Have a screening process. Should there be a facilitator? Yes. This facilitator doesn't do that much except make sure it keeps running. One person can get off on a conversation and not know how to stop talking. The facilitator says, it's time for us to do your affirmation, and we'll stop their talking. Or if the person can't quite get there, someone can help lead it along. But that's really everybody's job in the circle. But having a facilitator helps. This one I was fascinated with. Can you charge for your group? The answer is yes. Believe it or not. Now, that doesn't say you have to. Most mastermind groups are volunteer groups. Everybody's there because of the affinity and the connection. But you could, because in some groups, especially business groups, that creates a commitment. If you're going to pay for it, you're certainly going to be there. So that was just ideas. The last thought on this website that I read said, mastermind groups create a win-win situation for all participants. New friendships develop and everyone grows because of the support and encouragement of the mastermind group. Yes?
What was the name of the person? Karen?
Her name is Karen Greenstreet. But if you put that into your Google, she'll come up at like the 3rd item on there. So it's not hard to find, right? There's lots of resources out there. This is what our friend Napoleon Hill started. It's a powerful tool. So I hope it worked for you tonight. One other thing, most of you went to the idea of writing down the affirmation, which is fine. However, if you read it 3 times, it's not as powerful as if you focus enough to learn that sentence. And I noticed some of the sentences were a little wordy, because then they were beautiful, but you used a lot of words. So rather than saying Gwen has the encouragement to create a new home. Gwen has a new home. Gwen is in her new home. Something to the point. Get there. You know, just get there, and that will do it. Getting to the point is what? It isn't about being eloquent with your words and having lots of words. In fact, the less words, maybe the better. It's you saying them and agreeing to them and creating that affinity is what makes this work. Okay? Yes?
I really liked it when you said bingo, because we did find that as we went around the circle and different people had input, that people would pick and choose phrases out of it that really resonated. When they really felt it, that was when we knew we were on it.
And remember, the one that's receiving the affirmation gets to say what it is.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's, you know, that's the person that says yes or no to any part of it. You guys come up with all the ideas, and they go, yes or no. No, that's not quite it. You know, and you work at it till the person's going, yeah, that's what I want to hear.
You gotta have the emotion.
Yeah, and it does. It really sparks.
Yeah.
Marcy showed us about that. Thank you, darling. You were beautiful. Any other thoughts or comments? Barbara, let me turn this over to you. That was fun. Thank you, guys.
Well, the room was buzzing. You know, we were sitting back there just watching maybe 4 groups going on at once, laying hands and the room was Also, Mary Love does a monthly coffee on Tuesday mornings called Positive Connections, and this is what she does. She does that on Tuesday morning. It's usually some kind of a business-focused group, but it doesn't have to be. It's people who get together. What time is it?
8:30 to 9:30.
8:30 to 9:30 Tuesday morning, and it's meeting tomorrow, right? Tomorrow morning, right in this room. So if you want more of this, and you're an early person, if you're here at 8:30 in the morning, she will have coffee ready for you, and you can go through this process all over again. Yay! So the Center for Spiritual Living is a membership organization, and I just want you to know that you happen to be right at a cycle of us having our membership grow. And I know that there are a number of people in this room who have filled out membership cards. If you have not, we have a great class Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. It's called Membership in Spiritual Community. We may just want to call it How to Get Along with Other People by Being Who You Were Meant to Be. So if you'd like to come to that class, you're welcome to. You do not have to join the center. You can just come to the class, and it's a lot of process work and games, and there are toys and props and all kinds of things.
Are there prizes?
Yeah, you get to be a part of a kick-ass spiritual... What do you want to say?
I was just going to say, we still have some Science of Mind magazine 6-month subscriptions, if anyone wants one.
Oh, nice.
Carrie's giving away 6-month Science of Mind magazine subscriptions.
They're free. So
For free. That means giving away.
Getting the magazine, come see me, I'll take your information.
Wonderful, congratulations, yay! So, I know you're will you just wait after class and see me? And Laura, Mikhail, thank you. Is Donna Smith in here? Hey! And Kristen Bensel, David Landis. Hi, David. Kelly Thornton. Tara Schleyer. Okay, those people who are here, if you'll stay after class and just let me talk to you for a minute, then we'll have a little bit better handle on how many props to make and to bring, because we do play.
Does anyone else want a membership card tonight? Oh, you got it?
So do we have to make a reservation for Saturday, or what you guys know?
We like to have a general idea so we know how much stuff to have.
Excuse me, what is happening?
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
We're accepting members this weekend.
Oh, okay, so you need to know.
Well, if you want to come.
We have a
you come to
wonderful
the
membership
class.
and orientation class called Membership in Spiritual Community, which is all about being who you have come here to be so you can get along with other people, so they don't piss you off.
Liz just asked me if she could join twice because she loved the class.
It was a great class. You're all welcome to come to the class. Even if you've come to the class before, you're welcome to come. And I know there are some people who used to be members and may want to be a member again, and that would be a good idea to come to the class on Saturday too. But the only reason people get you is because you've forgotten who you are.
when you're clear about who you are, you're untouchable. You're God in form, light and love. That's all there is. And people can try to hook and hook and hook and hook, and there's nothing to grab because you're cool, you're clean. So that's a lot of the class is figuring that out, being that, and then having some wonderful experiences of play acting, of really kind of how to anchor in a little neuro-linguistic programming anchors so that when something starts to come up, you know where to go. And it's a lot of fun, and it's a wonderful class. I know you've been in the class. It's good, isn't it? Yes, it is. It is. So, anything else to share before we move on? This was great. The power of creative thought, the power that we have when we come together is the whole reason that we have spiritual community. Otherwise, you can read a book, stay at home, watch a video, and you're done. But there's something that happens when we have each other. So thank you for being willing to come out and be a part of all that happens. Also, Connie's coming to the class on Saturday morning and is looking for a ride. You live in Hendersonville? Right above Mills River. If anybody's coming on Saturday and can give Connie a ride, will you see her?
We just got it, right here.
Yay! Perfect divine appointment. Look at this. You weren't even going to come until a second ago. So I love the experiences. I love the demonstrations. I love the healings. Who had their daughter move back in? Cynthia. I love that. You know, true prosperity includes perfect happiness.
Yes.
And we are all one, and love is the only reality. And when that shows up as your kid moving back in, and then you letting your mother visit, you know, it's a multi-generational healing. That's real. That's real. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As you've got all your giving out, and you're ready, get ready. My treatment collectively every day for this center is that everyone who calls it home has a life that gets better and better and better. And then as members, you get individual treatments from John and me every quarter. But always my collective treatment is whether you're a member or not, that if you call this center home, your life gets better. So I've got to ask you, are you ready? Yes! Are you ready to have your life get better? Yes! Are you ready to be all that you are meant to be? Yes! Are you ready to have wonderful relationships? Yes! Are you ready to have an incredibly healthy, beautiful body? Yes! Are you ready to be at the top of your game? Yes! And are you ready to have all the money that you know what to do with? Yes! Get us out of your chairs, and we're going to do our prosperity treatment together aloud. I certainly know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the Think and Grow Rich program of our center, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is. Standing up, I really believe that you can do this. Start these at the back. Here, start at the back and come forward. Oh, she's doing it backwards. Yes, I am. As we continue to know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I
fun. Get your little one there.